Everybody, welcome back to Junk Driver Sports. I'm your host, Sean T. Stewart, back here with my co-host, D'Angelo Stevenson, my brother. Hey, man, you had the week off, you know what I'm saying? Y'all boy, y'all got y'all time with the UVA, got a chance to chill. How was the bye week, man?
Bobby was cool, man. Bobby was chill, bro. Like took a little time away from the chaos, but we back. We back this week. Got a little Washington State coming up on Saturday, but you know what I'm saying. We with it though, man. How was you, man? I know this week a lot was happening. A lot was happening, man. So you got a jersey on today, so
You know,
yeah.
a lot of things did happen. Some good, some bad. I ain't gonna let the bad get into my inner matrix too much though. You know what I'm saying? You see what I'm rocking. I'm a focus. I'm gonna choose to focus on the good today. I ain't gonna let the bad. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna let that bother me. Now on this wonderful morning, man. You see, God got that godly sunlight coming through. It ain't gonna bother me today. I promise. At least not until the end of this episode. Because you know what I'm saying.
Man,
But
with it.
college football this weekend, man. It was another interesting week. Another interesting week of college football. I don't know how much of it you got to watch. I know I was tapped in. But what games did you if you tapped into anything? What games did you tap into over the weekend?
It's so crazy because the South Carolina game was the only one I was really concerned about, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Because of yeah. Go ahead and go ahead and get into it, man. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty, man. I don't really have no comments on it, man. It's just like I said. I remember you and Ace was commenting in the group chat, man. Yeah, I'm just sitting back and watching, bro. I'm just sitting back and watching. Y'all know the more experts than me. Y'all know me, man. I'm so realistic, man. I ain't really trying to go on the fire beam, but it's just like it ain't looking good. It ain't looking good. Mind y'all, I was about to go to that game. I was about to spend money to take a flight, get a hotel, get tickets to go to that game. Y'all play like that? Nah, we not doing that. I dodged a really big bullet, bro. I don't even know. I don't even know what to say. Like, what was your thoughts on it? Because I don't even know what to say, bro. I don't.
My thoughts are, and I'm gonna try to keep everything concise. I'm gonna try not to get too up and wild and everything. But my thoughts were this is the same thing we experienced with Shane Beamer's teams after every bye week. Unprepared, undisciplined, and no sense of identity. These are the same things that we've dealt with every single year under Shane Beamer after a bye week. I would think I thought that hey, maybe, just maybe, you would have our boys ready to play in a hostile environment. That game was right there for the taking. You had plenty of opportunity there to win that game, keep it close, like you had it all. I mean, LSU didn't do anything.
Yeah,
LSU didn't do anything overly impressive
they're the
in that.
typical LSU team. That's what they
Yeah,
want.
that was an average LSU team that you went in there and played. They were hampered by injuries at that. On top of that, it's disappointing, man. It's disappointing because at this point we're in year 5. We're having the same discussion that we had from year 1,
You want.
and this is where the frustration sets in with the fan base, and this is where you know we have to be like people have to see where we're coming from when we say, man, look, you have to get this right at some point.
Yeah,
But I think we're all kind of we're just a little fed up with the same old same old way. I was like, oh well, it starts with me. It's we didn't have our guys ready to play. Why is it always we're not ready to play? Why is there always that? The most frustrating part about South Carolina right now is that it is not a talent issue. See, in years past, it was okay, we need to get the talent in the room because we don't have the talent to go up against some of these teams. That isn't the case right now. The case right now is that the talent's in the room, the coaching staff and the preparation isn't in the room with the talent. And that's the most disappointing thing I've seen thus far. I mean, having to watch Lenore do the same thing every week, which is run around, how to try to create plays. He's also not making every single play that's out there to be made as well. Defensively, you got as many stops as you could. You forced as many turnovers as you could. in the red zone at that. You force some huge stops, and not being able to convert. Um, still not finding a run game even after that huge run by Matthew Fuller. Not seeing him touch the rock until the second half again. That was there are just so many questions I have for Beam and company in terms of how they operate their squad. And I mean, things. I think things are starting to heat up though. Things really got real because then when you look at it, Lonnie Teasley, offensive line coach, got fired over the weekend. That was the first time we've ever seen Beamer make a decision like that in his head coaching tenure. So I know Beam hears it, and I know he's feeling it now. Obviously having a new AD, um, I think things may be moving a little bit different. I think that Beam and the AD had a call over in the morning, once at around 4 a.m. after the game, and that was where they discussed the future of Lonnie Teasley. And look, I mean, look, I'm not going to sit here and spew hate. Good luck to Lonnie Teasley moving forward. I appreciate the guys that he helped bring in. And obviously, he was a critical. He did play a part in what we've been able to do. It just isn't working. I don't know if Teasley is the biggest issue. That's the one thing we don't know. We won't know that until we'll need further information to prove that. Sean Elliott, former offensive line coach during the Steve Spurrier era, had been coaching tight ends. He'll take over the offensive line duties now. I'm not necessarily. I'm not upset with that. That's who I wanted from the start to have that position. We know what he's done for us. And now, I mean, midway through the season, what can we really expect? I'm not expecting. I'm not expecting these overall like grand changes to help us out that much. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I think this season is what it is. There is no yellow brick road for me when it comes down to what I think is going to happen with this team. I've talked long enough though. I'll let you have the floor.
I think it's mainly like you said, the season is what it is. You know what I'm saying? We already know there's really no promises going moving forward. I think, and it's hard to say this, and we're so in the thick of the season. It's like what are the decisions going to be moving forward and heading into the off season? I feel like this is going to be the hardest, if not one of the hardest off seasons in his tenure here. You know what I'm saying? Because we were talking about this last year after the good season they had a year ago. How do you follow up with that? And we all speculated that okay, like we're coming in number 11 in the country. Some things have changed for the better, and it has not. And I go back to what you said about how they are not coming to play ready after a bye week. My thing is, how are you not coming to be ready after a successful season? Because I feel like you guys got over your heads at the beginning of the year. You got over your heads at the end of the year last year, not making the playoffs, et cetera, et cetera. And then all of this stuff happens. So for me, it's just one of those seasons where it's just like you just take what you got again, like we've always been doing, and then we just have to hope and see what the rest of the year is like. How do we finish the rest of the year? Do we be Clemson at the end of the year? And just what the offseason is like. Because now it's nothing. It's really nothing. Like what is Lenore's future gonna be after this season? Because the way he's playing this year, we don't know if the NFL is what he needs right now. It's probably not. Especially it's not only him, just a lot of these quarterbacks that were projected this year. It's not just him, but and just Shane's future with the team. Is he in the hot seat after this year? Is he in the hot seat this year, especially after how the seasons went? Is a lot of his staff in the hot seat? Is he going to have to make a lot of questionable decisions? Probably. But it's like you said, the fans are frustrated. Am I frustrated? It is what it is with me. You know me. It is what it is for me. It's very mutual. It's like, you know what? Whatever. Like, I'm not gonna waste my hopes. If you're not gonna give me what I need as a fan, I'm not even gonna be mad if you're losing. Cause I know this already. I've known this already. I've seen this already. Um, It's just super disappointing. Again, I'm extremely happy that I did not waste the money to go there. Now, New Orleans probably would have been a good experience. I know I've been to New Orleans, Bourbon Street. That's just 5 points on crack. I ain't worrying about all of that. I ain't. It is what it is, man. I can go to 5 points and get all that stuff for whatever price it is, and just go to Jake's. I ain't worrying about none of that. But man, it's I
Well,
don't know.
so let me ask you then. So I mean, we've discussed it in the chat, and we'll obviously bring it here. You know, when it comes down to Beam's job security, do you think there should be, you know, should the fire be lit under Beam's seat? Like, should it be hot, or should the fire just be, or should the fire just be ignited, or should we just all just chill out and take a chance to relax and, you know, let it, you know, just kind of calm down for now?
I feel like the fire was ignited last season. Then they had a good year and they blew it out. I feel like it's just ignited again because now it's just like, what do we do? I feel like it's ignited, but it's a little bit heavier because it's like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? You come off this year, everybody looking to you. Our eyes were on us in a way of like the way we finished last year on 5 straight, 7 straight. I think it was it 3 or 4 ranked teams in that process.
Yeah.
Was a bowl, didn't win the bowl. All right, whatever. Come in number 11 team. How do you respond with that? And I feel like we were number 11, but we responded in a way that we're out of the rankings, and you can't do that. We responded as if we weren't a ranked team at all. And then you got teams like Vanderbilt who's stepping up, playing like a ranked team. Georgia Tech and the ACC playing like a ranked team. Hell, even SMU when they came out last year, they were playing like a ranked team. It's just like I feel like we get too high on ourselves every single time. I feel like ever since the Spurrier era ended, when we got a bit of a high, we immediately came back down. Immediately came back down, and it's the same way with this Beamer era. It's we get up here, the fans are hype, the videos and all this stuff are hype, everything is hype, and then we just come down.
It's
And
all. Well, I mean, it's just all sizzle, no substance for me, man. It's all, like you said, it's all about the hype and creating emotion out of the people, creating emotion out of the players. But there is no semblance of this translating when we hit the field. I mean, for me, when it comes down to Shane, I know he's not getting fired this year. Like, I know this. I completely know he's not getting fired this year. He will be expected to make some changes going into next year.
for sure.
Like, you can't go in with you can't do the same thing that you've always done. So, meaning, when we go look for an OC, if we are to get rid of Mike Shula after this year, when we look for an OC, you cannot go back and look for another failed NFL guy, because you've done this a few times already now. You know, Mike Shula being one, Kyle Loggins being the other. Marcus Satterfield was just Marcus Satterfield. I don't even quite know where that man even came from, but that is what it is. You're gonna have to change your philosophy on how you want to build this thing up, because the one thing that's happened here since you've been here, like, you haven't been able to build a sustainable offense. Like, and even in your best years, your offenses they've kind of gotten by. Last year was the closest you ever got to having a maintained level of success on offense, but every other year outside of that, it's not been great. Mm-hmm. If I think about Beam's career here, just in general, and has, like, obviously, like, the fun thing to do within the fan base is compare Beam to Muschamp in their 5 years thus far. Beam is outperformed Muschamp, but the thing I'll say is this with Shane Beamer, fam, tell me the stretch of football that made you confident in Shane Beamer and his time here. You could probably only give me the 6-game stretch from last season. That's the stretch you would have to give me in order to tell me, like, hey, this stretch of games was what made me feel comfortable. Mind you, he's had winning seasons prior to that. You can't give me a stretch of games from either of those seasons that made you feel comfortable with how he's bringing this team along. The only thing you can say is that, man, those boys they keep fighting. They don't stop. They don't stop competing. You know what I'm saying? So I think right now, man, it's just, you know, I even look at Lenore's, and me and Ace had this discussion immediately after the game. If you're Lenore's, you got to have a real discussion about what your future is. So, you know, we talked about the NFL not being a part of the current future, like the immediate future, but even if you do decide to come back to college, is the University of South Carolina where you come back to? And that's a real question. I want to know your thoughts on that.
That's going to be a hard pill for everybody to swallow, because he is what made the prediction of the season be what it is. Without him, there is no 11 seed. Let's keep it a bean. Without him, there's no 11 seed. So and he did mention, you know, transferring and the money and all this type of stuff like that. But I feel like as a fan, it's understandable, because you have to look at your future now. It's just where you want to be to help predict your future to go to the NFL. You got one more year left. You got one more year. I'm assuming he has one more year, right? He's a sophomore, right?
He's a redshirt sophomore. So technically, you know, so I mean, he's got a couple more years left on his left on the clock.
And I will say this, like, this season really hasn't been the best audition tape to go anywhere else. It hasn't. Like, maybe last year, yeah, this year, no. But even if you do, you have to make a decision like, yo, do I want to go to the league? I don't think that's the right decision for him now because of the year he had. But it's also like, do you come back? You have to question Shane. You have to question the OCs. You have to question the coaching staff. And then you have to look at the options that you have next year. I think Tennessee was in the running to get him last year. I think they were in the hot seat to get him last year. He might look at that. He might go to the Big Ten. We don't know, because he has to look at his future. He's a well-known quarterback. So it's definitely going to be something that's going to be on his mind as the season progresses. There's no question in my mind that he is questioning a lot of these things in that coach's room, in the locker room, or whatever. But I think the fans are gonna be upset, but at the same time, I feel like if you are a true dissector of this, you really have to understand where he's coming from. Come back, and you know everything's gonna be okay. Like, yo, this man was projected to be a top 3 pick, and his draft stock probably went down because of this season. So now he has to make a decision for his. He probably thought coming in as a freshman, as a freshman, I don't know if I'm be in the ranks this high. You are a top 3 pick in the draft coming into this year.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? It's like,
look, I ain't gonna lie. The first place I thought of when I thought of a place to go transfer to was the University of Miami. If I'm being completely honest, if I'm thinking of, hey, what's the place where they've been able to feel like either rehab a quarterback in Carson Beck? They've helped rehab him and his career, and he looks like he's likely going to be a first round pick this year. You know, with the year that he's having in Miami, that place is going to have the most. They're going to be able to have the money. They're going to have the infrastructure to help develop me, because the biggest key for him is development. Like, not necessarily just the money, just the development piece that gets you to the next level. I think that has to be taken into account as well. I mean, I look at even like a Oregon. Like I you know, obviously if Dante Moore moves on and goes to the league, I don't know if he'll do that. But that's another place that even if I'm him, I have to consider those things. And like, that's the realistic part of this now. Like, we're in this era now where you have to consider every single facet of this. And if I'm his family, I'm just like, hey, look, this is a huge decision. This is a really huge decision, because I mean, right now you can't go. I don't think you can go to the league with this, and I don't think you're ready for the league anyway. I think you've shown there are still things that you need to tighten up in your game that can be done with another year. It's just that if I spend another year in college, that I spend it at a place that isn't helping me get better, then what good does that do? And that's the real question. Like you said, like, everybody's got to be realistic about, like, you got to make the best decision for you. I mean, I worry about a guy like Dylan Stewart as well. A guy like that I think came here intending upon competing for something significant. I mean, I gotta assume that the phone calls are being made for him as well. A lot of our top talent probably is likely gonna get poached. And that's the biggest thing now. Is like, the game has changed so much that it's not only about winning, it's also about, hey, how do you retain the guys that you do have? So, but I think we've spent enough time on that. We'll move on to some other college football stuff around the nation. Indiana versus Oregon. This game, this was Indiana's coming out party, y'all. Like there is no more debating, no more questioning whether they're legitimate. Indiana showed me that they have the talent to run with the best of them. They went on the road to Autzen Stadium and got a big time win, conference game. That game was set up for Oregon to dust up and just do what they typically do, run teams out of the building. Indiana went there. Kurt Cignetti, man, give kudos to him. How quickly he's turned his program around and how quickly the narrative changed for even last year. Last year, we didn't believe they could run with the best teams, and they couldn't. They played the best teams in their conference, and they got dusted up on. That kind of it was what it was. This year, they have the athletes to run with in Oregon. I gotta assume you have the athletes to run with in Ohio State. They have the front lines to be able to compete as well. They can compete within the trenches. That changes everything. It changes the perception of how you have to view this team. I was very impressed with that win. They are, I mean, they're one of the best teams in the nation. There's no denying that. But they have legitimate national title hopes after that.
Oh yeah, sure. I'm looking at their schedule right now, man. They definitely can win out. I don't really see a threat, moving forward, especially with the Penn State situation. I don't see Penn State being a threat for them to they can definitely win out. Here's the thing about Indiana. And I hate to go back to it though, but Indiana this year is what South Carolina should have been in terms of a follow-up season. The way they had it. Indiana has really went in and said, hey, this ain't a fluke. Like you said, they really defeat the odds from last year. I think the toughest team other than Oregon they played was Illinois. Mm-hmm. And they got a dub on it. They got a big dub on that, 63-10. And you go to Oregon and you win that by 10. And it's pretty much smooth sailing for you. Like I said, they're one of the best teams in college football right now. Do I think they're better than Miami? Maybe. maybe. I don't know. That's a big maybe. They're not better than Ohio State, but I will say this: that's going to be a heck of a conference championship game if they make it that far for those two. That's going to be a good game. Ohio State is doing their thing, but man, Indiana though, just like you said, just to go in a hostile environment and win by 10, man, that solidifies a lot about not just them, but the Big Ten moving forward in terms of teams that are shifting at this point.
Yeah, the Big Ten has a stranglehold on college football, man. It's kind of clear as day. You have Ohio State, who we still think is probably the most talented team in the nation. They haven't quite put together like the numbers and the pretty wins, but we know that if you go talent for talent on everybody's roster, Ohio State probably grades out better than everybody else in the nation. If we were just doing straight up comparisons. Oregon, I still feel strongly about Oregon. I will say things do change, seeing how Penn State is now fallen since that game, and that doesn't look like the win that we thought it would be, to this point now. But how they bounce back is gonna be very telling as well. They have plenty of opportunity. But for Indiana, I say, hey, look, man, stay the course. You got Michigan State coming up. Look, one thing we've seen is that these things can change. things can change very quickly for you. So keep your head on the swivel. You have Michigan State, you have UCLA. UCLA's got a couple big victories now. UCLA's they're kind of hot. You know what I'm saying? It just don't allow the big moment that you just had to usurp everything else that you have to do in order to handle business. Like you said, they've gotten some big victories already this year, and they don't have necessarily an opponent on the schedule. Dog, the rest of their opponents on the schedule are either 500 or worse. They're not playing a winning team left on their schedule right now. So that goes to show that that's a different conversation about the depth of each conference. Because if I'm telling you who I still think has the deepest conference in terms of good teams, it's still the SEC. Mm-hmm. But right now, the Big Ten has probably the better. They're top heavy. They're the same complaint people used to give the SEC back in the day. Is that y'all only have maybe 2-3 teams, and that's kind of where the Big Ten is at right now. But that's neither here nor there. Like I said, Kurt Signetti and his group, they got a lot of potential moving forward, man. Texas versus Oklahoma. This game, let me do something right here. Hey, look, I'm not gonna apologize to Archman. I'm not gonna do that. Great win by Texas, though. Great win. But the reason why I won't apologize to Arch is not because I didn't think he played well. I thought he did a good job of managing this game and doing simply what I think everybody's been asking you to do from the start of the season. Is, dog, can you not blow this? Can you take care of the football? Can you make timely plays? And that's exactly what he did. We asked, and this is the bare minimum for a guy that's been in college for 3 years. A bare minimum for a guy that was considered a 5-star. These are the bare minimum things, the bare necessities. You know what I'm saying? What that boy said in Jungle Book. But it's the bare necessities is what we need you to do, and that's what he did. And I'll give him kudos for that. There's still questions about who he is and what he can be. But those questions we can answer those questions as the season progresses. What we can say today is that maybe John Mateer isn't who everybody told me he was. And I know people are going to say, hey, he's got the injury. And here's what I'm going to tell you. If you out there and you decide to play, I don't think anybody cares about the injuries. Like, I think I know right now for a fact, nobody in the Oklahoma fan base gives a damn about you being injured if you decide to play against Texas. If you were hurt, you should have sat out. And don't welcome that smoke if you ain't 100% ready to go for it. Right. But Oklahoma's got real questions offensively. I haven't been overly impressed with what they've done offensively all year. I know people told me that Mateer was supposed to be one of these ones, but here's the thing I'll tell you about that I've seen in John Mateer. I mean, you had an opening game against Illinois State that you scored 35 points in. You had a game against Michigan where you won that 24-13. And Mateer had his moments, of course. Obviously, his biggest contributions being on the ground, scoring 2 touchdowns there. But overall, these haven't been the most impressive statistical days, and I guess you can't just always go by the box score and what the stats say. But he hasn't been overly impressive. Brent Venables in this group they're relying upon their defense, which is what we expect out of a Brent Venables group, to rely on his calling card, which is hard-nosed defense. You know what I'm saying? Being able to show up and be physical. And you run up against a Texas team that showed up with that same level of physicality, and they had a bit more offensively to be able to take from you. And I think your inability to create offense and to create big play offense is what held you back in this one. You lose this one 23-6. So I mean, it's a big blow, and it does show me a lot of what I don't think Oklahoma can recreate in order to be in like a serious contention conversation as far as the national title goes.
I think I just want to speak on Texas, and like you said with Arch Manning, it's another one of the situations I had to ask about Lenore's. Like, do I think he's still a projected top 5? Yes. Do I think he's NFL ready? No. I don't think he's NFL ready, but I feel like with the pressure and the hype that he has, he's gonna go anyway. It's one of those situations where like a lot of these quarterbacks and I know you said on the pre-show that the NFL is all over the place. These college football prospects are all over the place, especially these quarterbacks, man. Um, he came out and he got the win that he was supposed to get. Let's keep that there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But he didn't look good. Just like he did all season. He didn't look poised. He didn't look stable. And it's just again, it's like, yo, like, are you sure? Are you completely sure? Because a lot of these kids are looking to the future right now instead of playing within the moment. Especially a lot of these quarterbacks now. Um, Again, it was an impressive win. He got it. That's what he needed. But he just didn't look ready to me. Um, a good win for them. Even in the beginning of the game, I was like, yo, like this game might be, you know, it might go Oklahoma way. It might. But he went in, he did his thing, and they led him to a dub. But man, I don't know, bro. It's like and even with Texas as a team, even when you really want them to be where they need to be, they don't show up either. They don't show up either. And again, your quarterback situation is going to define a lot, not just this year, but just moving forward as well, as a whole.
No, you know what, and these are the facts. And Oklahoma's got a game against South Carolina coming up on the road. I don't even know what to make of that. Like, I can't even begin to try to make any sense of what a game against South Carolina will look like. But you have a game at home against Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Mizzou. I mean, look, here's the thing. This is the SEC for you, dog. Their last 5 opponents are all ranked in the top 25. All ranked in the top 25. So it does not get South Carolina the easiest game you'll get, and that's on the road. So what I saw out of that team this past weekend, they'll end up 8-4. They'll end up 8-4. I don't see you coming out of that stretch anything better than 8-4 for sure. Not this. You probably get your win at South Carolina. I'll give you that. But the rest of these, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. And again, you just gotta see better. You just going to have to see better play overall from your offense. Like if that offense cannot muster up anything more than what they gave you, then no, absolutely not. If that injury is hampering material that much, then I think you may have your season's already chalked. If that's the case.
It's already done. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Bama versus Mizzou. Ty Simpson, dog. Every single week, I wonder, can he do it again?
Yeah.
Like, can he continuously keep playing at a high level? Can he keep putting the team on his back? Can he continue to make the right plays at the right time? And he does. And when I'm already calling it. When he wins the Heisman, these numbers won't be the most impressive. They won't be the most gaudy numbers you've ever seen. But if you watch him, you just like, man, any critical third down, he gets it. Any critical fourth down, he gets it. He understands when it's time to take off and run, when it's time to stand back there and make a throw. I see of all the college quarterbacks this year, the guy that's consistently shown up for me has been Ty Simpson. That's the guy that's he's been hands down the best quarterback in college football this year. I don't think it's really been close, truth be told. He's separating himself from the pack. Besides that opening day game, what can you tell me? What bad can you give me about Ty Simpson and what he's done? Their defense also came up with some big plays as well. I thought their defense was disruptive when it needed to be. They made some plays there. Overton made some big time plays on their defensive front. Kalen DeBoer and his group they're figuring out week by week. It's not pretty, and this ain't the Bama that you used to know and love, but they are competing. They are competing, and they're doing it their way now. Like DeBoer's doing it the way he knows how to do it. And I think that's all you can really ask for if you're Alabama, because with how the season started, the way you've recovered has been nothing but flawless since their opening day loss to Florida State. But I gotta ask, what have been your thoughts thus far?
Bro, I like Ty, man. I think you got to put him in the Heisman candidate, man. You said he's gonna win it, so he's been very impressive, for me just watching him all year. And like you say, he just continued to make big plays, man. And he's just just looking at his stats, man. I was just taking a look at it, and dude is insane. His QBR is like 81.5, bro. Dude is insane. 6 TDs, 1 pick. Um, and you look at Bama's schedule just moving forward as well, man. Like Tennessee at home, South Carolina again. Don't know what I'll make of that. So he's got a lot of tests. I feel like Tennessee, LSU, and Oklahoma are like the 3 teams that. But I'm not worried about the kid, man. I'm not. I'm really not. Like dude is just. He's really impressed me all year. You know what I'm saying? Other than the first loss to Florida State, I mean, whatever. It's at this point, I'll take that as like the way Florida State's been playing, bro. I take that as just like it's a pity loss, bro. It don't mean that much. But like when you go into it, man, it's like he finds ways. He finds ways, and uh, he's continuing to get better every week. Every single week, he's got better every single week. So, uh, I like where it's headed. I think Bama is gonna get better as the season go on. Like they're number 6 right now in the rankings, bro. They definitely can move up in that top, 5, maybe even 4. Depends on how A&M and Ole Miss duke it out. But dude, I like the kid, man. I really do like the kid.
Absolutely. I like I said, I'm very appreciative of his game, and again, finding a way to get it done without even without your main receivers being that involved. Like you take a look at it. Like Jeremy Bernard he had 3 catches for 20 yards. Ryan Williams didn't record a single catch. So that it shows you what they're able to do differently. Like how they're able to work around even their best players not being able to contribute. They're finding ways. I think this is a credit to Kalen DeBoer, and this is what you brought him in for. This is what we thought he would be. If he'd be this creative mind, offensively that can help, that can help put up big time points. They've not always put out the gaudiest of numbers, but I think going on the road against a Mizzou team that had been flying high to that point, that was big time for Missouri. I'll say this. I mean, Bo Prabula, dude, another one of these quarterbacks, dog, they're just not equipped to play outside their game of what makes them comfortable. I think that's what that was. I think all year, no team had necessarily been able to make Prabula play out of his comfort zone. The closer you got to that was South Carolina when they came to town. But consistently having to play out of your comfort zone, not being able to just run around, run some RPO actions, and hand the ball to Ahmad Hardy. Like, hey, Ahmad Hardy, 12 carries, 52 yards. Now they still had a solid output from the ground game. Like they ran for 163 yards on 28 carries, but for that team, they're better when Ahmad Hardy is controlling the offense. When that offense is ran through their running game, that's when they're at their best. But you had to see Prabula throw the ball 28 times through 2 interceptions, also within those 28 pass attempts. So, like I said, I think it's not a team that's built for just what I would say not a team that's not built for it, but there's not a quarterback that I can trust. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like that's another one of those teams that could be really good if I trusted what you had at quarterback. And like you said, this is not a lot of great quarterbacks in college football right now. It's just not like the numbers, the on field play. None of it screams that we have elite quarterback play right now. But the last college football game I have for us, is Pitt versus Florida State. My boy, good God, Mike Norvell. Talk about coaches on a hot seat. Mike Norvell should be gone, man. There is no question in my mind that Mike Norvell should be up out of here. When you look at how bad he's been in conference over the past 2 years now, how bad his overall record is against Power 4 teams, he is just simply not getting it done. Aside from a flash in the pan year with Jordan Travis, he has not performed well as a head coach at Florida State. And that team is, I thought that team was talented enough to maybe not, I thought that team was talented enough to at least compete in the ACC. Mm-hmm. I didn't believe it would fall off like this. Like, obviously, it all started once they went to Charlottesville and lost on a Friday night. Shouts out to y'all boys. And just the inability to recover. I'm not mad that you lost to Miami. That makes perfect sense. I got a lot of faith in Miami as being one of the best teams, if not the best team in college football. But when you fall up against Pitt with a true freshman quarterback and he goes off for 400 yards and has a day on you, dog, I don't know what to make of any of this. Tommy Castellanos, your quarterback, the gimmick is up with that. I think the whole gimmick with what they've done with the play calling that's over with all that. I can't it's like nothing. It's all sizzle, no substance. Nothing like for I don't know. They don't have a real path to victory for me each and every week. It's disappointing. Those fans deserve better down there in Tallahassee. But as of right now, bro, he got to go. That's another guy that if James Franklin can get fired, he should for damn sure be fired today.
I agree with you. I really do. I think since that loss of UVA, their confidence has really went down to the bone. It's not great. It's not looking great. It's not looking great for a lot of these coaches, man. But in Florida State, bro, it's just one of those situations, man. Like you just can't. Like, you were supposed to have that momentum after that loss, and it just plummeted straight right there. Like, what is happening? And I don't want to shift gears because I kind of want to shift to another firing that happened this week. James Franklin, man, he out of there. We don't know the future of Penn State right now, but man, like, I think that was a writing on the wall. Everybody seen that coming because I felt like he wanted out of there anyway. And then that talks of like him going to Tech, all this type of stuff. I feel like this has been the best drama in college football that we've seen in a long time. I love it. I love it all. I love it. I love it all, man. And it's just like even when you look at the top 5, bro, like Ohio State, Miami, Indiana, A&M, you would have, in 10 years ago, you would have never said that.
Nah. Not Indiana in the top 5. Ooh. In the top 5, bro. You feel me, bro? Like, here's what I say about the James Franklin firing though. It's one of those where I don't know where you think you're getting your next head coach from. Who do you think you can get if you're Penn State that doesn't already have a job that everybody wouldn't already love? Like, who is it that you think you're gonna get?
Yeah, sure.
Because do you think you're poaching Dan Lanning out of Oregon? Mm-hmm. Do you think you're poaching Kalen DeBoer out of Alabama? Who do you think you're gonna get? Like, that's the thing. I think the only realistic one I could see of a guy that's coaching an elite team right now. The only coach I could think you could get is Curt Cignetti, because I imagine you got more money in the bank than Indiana does. But remember, you have to pay James Franklin $50 million in his buyout. So it's not even a cheap way out. You just made the playoffs last year. I think this was very rash. It was a very rash decision. I don't know if I like doing this right now. Like, you got to just maybe ride the wave out with this one. into the end of the season, and then like nothing's changing the season anyway. And so not only did you just go ahead and declare this season a failure, you've also declared the next couple of years as a failure, because how are you going to recruit the recruiting classes you had coming in? Because we know how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
It gets tough when you start letting go of assistants, much less a head coach. So you're not gonna. So what guys will you keep? So how long are you willing to be bad for? Because you do have to understand you're gonna be bad. It's gonna bottom out some more over the next few years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And who do you think is coming to save that program? Is all I ask. And now I will say that doesn't mean that you don't try to make changes. It just means that maybe we should have let James Franklin come back to the table, figure out how to rehash some things out, and see if he can come up with a new method of how to approach Penn State football. Not firing him. Not firing bro right now. I don't know if I agree with that. I mean, I'm sorry. This isn't Virginia Tech. Like Virginia Tech had been bottoming out. They had been bottoming out, so I understood their firing. Penn State, I get it. You lost some games that you just don't like, but Drew Aller's lost for the season. I think I don't know, man. I just would have gave James Franklin the respect of being able to get one more shot.
Mm-hmm.
I think one more shot. We all know the situation. You're going to be on the hot seat, like you're going to have to coach your way to keeping your job. And I don't know, man. I don't know. I do not like this though. I do not like this, and I don't think they're going to be seeing. We won't be hearing from Penn State for a little while. I'm gonna be honest, y'all.
They're about to be they're about to be at Pitt. So it again, like they are just like you see every Plymouth as a team that replaces. I think Indiana is going to be that replacement for Penn State. So I mean,
yeah.
All right.
Well, I guess we can get on to the NFL.
Take a deep breath, man. There you go.
So, Carolina Panthers at home versus the Dallas Cowboys win a shootout 30-27, and I will say I am finally it feels like I have some sort of stability with this team now. It feels like that we have some sort of an identity. Now, let the record show we have played two of the worst run defenses in the league the past 2 weeks. So Rico Dowdle's performances will be held under a microscope moving forward. But still credit to Rico Dowdle for overperforming these last couple of weeks. Even if those are the worst two defenses you'll see in the league, to go off for 200 plus yards in both of those games, absolutely phenomenal. You needed every single bit of what he gave you as well. Like those games don't get won without those plays. Like none of it's garbage time, none of it's meaningless. Rico Dowdle played pivotal parts into how we operated our game plan. But this is also how I wanted the game plan to operate with Bryce Young and this team in general. I wanted to be able to run the football. I wanted to be able to dictate our offense off of the ground game, making it easier for Bryce to be able to make plays. Bryce also is playing well within himself, playing calm, playing collected. I don't see him playing rushed. I haven't seen him play very rushed here the past couple of weeks. Taking care of the football as well. I mean, aside from, well, he did throw a pick this past weekend, and even against the Dolphins, he had a couple turnovers. But this past weekend, that interception wasn't on him. But for the most part, Bryce has played with the level of poise that you would like to see from a guy that was the number one overall pick. Figuring out what we're going to be week to week, man. You got the Jets coming up. That's a team that is while they are 0-6, don't get it confused. That team's competitive. They are in every single game that they've lost thus far. So, how do you come out and how do you prepare? You're on the road. We know this is where Carolina has not been great so far this year. You're 0-3 on the road. Can Dave Canales have his team prepared and be ready to go? Will the momentum carry on the road? Big questions. chance to be above 500 for the first time in a long time. So for the Carolina Panthers, man, I just want to. I'm more so concerned with where is your process in terms of handling success. How do you handle success? How do you now turn this into consistent success? Where are the leaders? Where's my coaching staff? Who's going to make the proper? Who's going to make the proper changes? Obviously, people are talking about Chuba Hubbard losing his job to Rico Dowdle and doing all types of crazy things like shipping them off. Y'all are crazy as hell. I don't understand why the first thought in your mind is, yeah, we got another good running back. Let's ship off another one. Let's get him up out of here. Like, bro, like it's a long season.
Y'all have a habit of doing that.
Y'all it's weird.
For the longest time, I would say since I was like, hell, even in the early 2000s, y'all had a habit of doing that. Y'all had a habit of having a good running back, and y'all get someone else, and it's like, yeah, we about to ship them off. I feel like, with an exception of CMC, maybe y'all really have been inconsistent when it comes to y'all's run game and just having a proper one RB to say, okay, we're gonna keep this guy for a while. He's really good. He's doing this thing. Oh, this the secondary's coming in. He's doing this thing. Let's ship him off. Let's trade him. Release him. Why?
And
why don't you do the dual thing like I had with Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams?
Hey, look, and why like back when you had even Stephen Davis and Deshaun Foster, even way back when, roll with that. That's the best to me. That's the best way. That's the only way I know for Carolina to be successful is to have a 2-back system where you run the ball 30 plus times a game. Because to me, I think as much as improved as our defense has looked, I still don't want to leave my defense out there too many times. If I can play ball control, if I can keep other teams on the sideline, if I can continuously pound the rock, then I'm gonna do so. That's the path to victory for me. That's the proper path. I don't think there should be any questioning about whether we're keeping Chuba Hubbard. The only questioning you could have is who should be the starting running back once Chuba's healthy. And I think you roll with Rico until it's not Rico anymore. I think Rico's earned the right to start, but you split those carries. By no stretch do you put Chuba on the sideline and you don't let them get fed. Like, no, you feed them both. You feed them both, and you let teams figure out who's gonna be the hot hand that day. And whoever the hot hand is, you roll with it.
Roll with it.
Very simple process to me, but who am I?
Yeah. Who am I? All right, we got to get in. Let's talk about my boys, part number 1 in the AFC South, Indianapolis Colts, man. I'm hyped, bro. Y'all don't understand this for me. I can't really speak much on like the Panthers, man, because that ain't really my team, whatever. But I can speak much on a team who's been there. I ain't trying to throw no shot. A team who's been there, a team who's seen the mountaintop, a team who's just been on top of edge of glory. Man, I'm excited. Danny Dimes, dog. I call him. Everybody say Indiana Jones. I call him Danny Diamonds. That's the nickname I got him. Danny Diamonds, man. Dude, he's resurrecting his career in Indy, bro, and it brings me so much joy. It just everything has Shane. Listen. I'm so glad all of this is coming together. This game against Arizona, it was a close game. It was a very, very close game, but we somehow got the win. Everybody's just playing together. The offensive line looks great. Jonathan Taylor is literally one of the best, if not the best, running back in the league this season. Kudos to the offensive line again. The offensive line has been playing the way they've been playing since, I would say, Quentin Nelson's maybe first and second year. He's becoming a leader of that offensive line. We lost Ryan Kelly to Minnesota. That was going to be a key part, but some of these guys stepped up on the line. Pittman, what's the? I can't even think of the cat's name. The rookie out of Penn State, Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren is playing like a veteran, dude. And I like the way he plays. He's played with so much grit, so much passion. He wants to be the best player in the league. I'm so excited moving forward for this team. What we can do moving on in the future. I don't know. I don't know. Are we a Super Bowl contender? Probably not. And I'm saying that, and we're 5-1. We're probably not a Super Bowl contender, but the way we're playing now, there's so much hope. There's
Yeah,
so much hope, man. I couldn't even tell you how fun it is to watch this team, especially in the past couple of years, having quarterback situation after quarterback situation after quarterback situation, and bringing in Anthony Richardson, thinking he was going to be the future. No one. You cannot tell me at the beginning of the year, no one expected Danny Dimes to play the way he's played all year. No one expected him to be the leader of a team. And not only that, no one expected him to get a contract extension after this year, because it's going to happen. He signed a 1-year deal. He's definitely going to sign an extension unless we do some trickery stuff that Minnesota did with, Sam Darnold. We got our guy. We're going to let him go.
yeah,
I don't want that to happen. Like, you got something good going on. He's still a young guy. He's 28. Let him stay here if you can. Let him do his thing, and we build off of that. But man, like, just even watching the game yesterday, as edgy as I was yesterday, I had so much belief for this team to win that game, and that's the first time in a long time.
yeah. And look, man, the league is in a weird. The league is in a really weird place. Like we're 6 games in, and nobody has a really clear sign of who's good and who's not. Who's like like your usual suspects, like a Kansas City and like a Philadelphia. They're fine, but they're not great right now. And we won't know this next month, this upcoming month. This is the month of, we got a couple more games left here in the month of October. This will probably give you a lot more of an idea of where everything is. But right now, man, like y'all got the Chargers coming up. The Chargers are a team I felt great about coming into the year. They're 4-2 right now. Nothing bad. They haven't played bad, but they're not necessarily the dominant force I thought they would be, and they have a lot of injuries they're dealing with as well. It's just a lot. It's just a lot of question marks right now. I think Detroit is a team I like. But they obviously they lost a tough one there to Kansas City on Sunday night. And even looking at Monday night, you look at the Monday night game, you look at Atlanta, man, pretty much handling the Buffalo Bills. And the Bills now are in a weird position where I don't know if I feel as great about them anymore.
That's two losses back to back that you shouldn't even have.
Yeah. And like you said, these are 2 losses that are really unexplainable. And you got to look at the games that you won and look at the team that you're not beating. These aren't the team that we thought they would be to this point. Like when you beat the Ravens to start the year, we're thinking the Ravens are going to be top of the AFC North. We're thinking they're going to be somewhere in the top 3 seeds of the AFC overall, and they're nowhere to be found with any of that. They're the way things are looking right now, they could probably be looking at the number 1 overall pick at this rate. Just like none of their wins look overly impressive. Then you look at what New England has done. New England went on the road, beat you in Buffalo, and then got a win in New Orleans. Now, one would say, it's New Orleans, but back to that point I made earlier, we don't quite know who is who. So I can't just say, that's just New Orleans. All right, you say that, but New Orleans also has been able to compete against everybody they played against as well this year. So it's a weird place of that. I don't think there's an elite team out there. I don't know who's gonna get hot. I don't know who's gonna get hot and who's gonna make their run and their claim to fame by the end of the year, because somebody's gonna do it. Like somebody has to, but there is no one team that is head and shoulders above the rest, and I love it. Because
I like the unpredictability of it.
It leaves space open. Sorry, I'm sorry. You got
you got it.
It just leaves so much space for a team like Indianapolis. Like when you have the unexpected run of signing a Daniel Jones and you have this hot start, and you're in a division that people didn't quite know how that was going to look anyway. now you have two teams right now in that division that are possibly battling for one of the top spots in the conference in Jacksonville and in Indianapolis. So it leaves space open for teams like that. It leaves space open for a team like the Chargers to possibly make a run. But then I even look at the NFC. Dog, the NFC South all of a sudden has some life in it now, whereas Tampa Bay has probably been the best team in the league to this point thus far. And we don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're probably playing with the MVP at quarterback right now. And Baker Mayfield.
And then you look at the NFC West, bro. Like, other than the Cardinals, bro, that's a 3-way tie.
Right? You feel me?
So yeah. It's like it's so many storylines within this. It's because, like, who's gonna come out of the NFC West? That's a good one. The Colts went like at the top of the AFC South. The Patriots are back, quote unquote, the new era of the Patriots. Are they starting to take over the AFC East again? The Steelers in the AFC North. Like, it's in the Chargers in the AFC West. Will this be a breakout year for the Chargers? And the Broncos is telling them. So now it's so much that is going on that it doesn't give you. It's not one dimensional. It's not like the Chiefs than everybody else, the Eagles than everybody else. It's literally, you can point in so many different directions in each division. Each division has a story to tell. Each one. Even if you're looking at the Browns in that quarterback situation with Shador,
they at least have a story that you're interested in.
Everybody has a story. You look, like you said, with Aaron Glenn and the Jets, 0-6, but they're competitive. You look at the Baltimore Ravens, 1-5. They look like they were going to be at the top of their division, but they could have the number 1 pick. However, I don't think this is a test of them. Well, some of it is just a test of them being bad. I think Jim is on his way out. I don't think he's there anymore.
This is John Harbaugh.
Jim is in LA, right?
Yeah.
Okay, John might be on his way out, and it's just an unfortunate luck of Lamar being hurt.
Yeah.
All right, so we understand that part, but the Steelers have been quiet, but they've been good. The Bengals is just like, what do you do with them now? The Bengals have had so much talk. Offensive line, defense isn't good. Payment of players, whatever the case may be. The Colts and the Jaguars are neck and neck in the South. Like I said, even with the Patriots, the Bills. Like the Bills, to me, I can't count them out. Nah. Yeah, these 2 losses have been bad. Do I think the Patriots are better than them? No, I don't. I just think it's just a situation that they need to figure it out. The Patriots are good now. And I'm not saying this because I'm a hater, because I am a hater. Like, first of all, I just want to give off topic. Hey, I got my joy. All right, I need New England to cut it out. Like, stop trying to be good because we good.
I'm gonna tell you something though. I'm gonna tell you something though. I think you got to really reevaluate how you look at New England, because Drake May. When we talked about quarterbacks coming out in last year's class, we had all of those guys right there lumped together. Him, Caleb, Jaden, we had them boys all there together. So the big time playmaking ability, these are the same things we saw in North Carolina. He's been able to now translate it to the league. Obviously, added Stephon Diggs does a lot for that. He's having a huge breakout. Like, he looks every single bit of the part. And I don't think this is just a fluke, because I believe they have a coach that can help maintain that as well, and Mike Vrabel. Like, we ain't talking about just no old regular run-of-the-mill type of coach. We're talking about a coach that got a Tennessee team to the AFC title game with just the run game and Ryan Tannehill. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think they're a little bit different. And I think Buffalo, here's the thing about Buffalo, I'll say, is that when you look at what they did last year, I thought we all understood that was because of Josh Allen. Like, Josh Allen won the MVP because we all thought that he's carrying a unit that isn't very good and he's making it better. And that's what he's having to do again this year. That's how he won his MVP last year. This year, there won't be an MVP in sight, and there probably won't be much playoff success either, because you're going to be fighting just to win that division. And I asked the question last week, like, hey, how does Buffalo handle getting punched in the mouth? Because since they've since they've taken over the AFC East, they haven't had a clear peer. Like it should have been we thought it should have been Miami, but they never could quite figure it out. But see, New England has a team with the right head man and the right type of mentality and the right type of caliber of players that are gonna go toe to toe. Hey, look, man, we just gonna knuckle up. We're gonna see who got it. And right now, Buffalo they don't have the lack of weapons is showing up big time. Khalil Shakur, Keon Coleman, those guys are not enough, at least as it seems right now. Like those guys having like that may not be enough to be a real threat. So when I start looking around, though, and I look over there back at Kansas City, and I say, hold on, that offense. I know they lost a couple weeks ago to Jacksonville, but one thing I said was that offense is starting to find itself. It's starting to find when they got Xavier Worthy back, the offense starts to find itself. Rashee Rice is coming back here soon. I expect this offense to take another uptick. And where do I think they'll max out to is going to be the biggest question for me. If they max out in a similar place than what they've been the past few years, then hey, don't look too fast, but Kansas City may be right back in the thick of everything. And Lord knows, don't nobody want to see Kansas City right back in the thick of everything.
Oh no,
because I don't think anybody has the confidence to go on the road to go beat Kansas City. But
I want to say this. I don't believe the narrative of the Eagles. I don't. I still think the Eagles are, at least to me, in my opinion, could be, if not the best team in the NFC. I know the Green Bay's having a good start or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Green Bay's having a high start. The whole narrative of like everyone is just displeased with each other and all of this type of stuff. They've had this before. Like let's just keep it a bean. Like, of course, you're gonna have issues after winning the Super Bowl. Everybody thinks after you win a Super Bowl, everything is gonna be all peaches and rainbows. You're gonna be good and all this type of stuff like that. Mind you, this is not the NBA. This is not Golden State. You don't have 82 games to figure it out and go do it. No, you have 16, 17 games to figure it out and then go repeat if you can. That is a short window, if you think about it. Mind you, you got practices, all this type of stuff, days off, whatever the case may be. I still think they are the best team. I think the flack from Jalen Hurts needs to stop. Because mind you, the same thing that you're giving them, you got to get a Chiefs. Even though they didn't win the Super Bowl, get a Chiefs the same flag. Oh, they lost to Jacksonville. Oh, there are problems in the locker room. They're not saying that with the Chiefs. They're not saying that. But they could also have issues in the locker room. They could also have issues with players not liking each other. It's always the Super Bowl contenders. What's up?
But there are clear differences between the Chiefs and their losses and the Eagles and their losses. Like when you won those first 4 games and you were only passing for 100 yards, everybody said, get over it, A.J. Brown. Y'all winning football games. But we knew as soon as they started to lose, and we could kind of see the writing on the wall, because have you been impressed with what Philadelphia's put out thus far this year?
Not really.
Not really. Right. So it's not we all had the idea that this thing can be beat. This isn't the same Philly team that beat up on everybody last year. They are still trying to figure themselves out. Now I think it has a lot to do with the fact that you have a new OC again, and you're having to try to implement things that he wants to do and what he may see fit for this team to run. And they haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm not going to say it's over. I'm not going to say it's all on Jalen Hurts. What I will say is that there is a consistent problem, and it does seem to always go back to Jalen Hurts. And at a point, I think guys like A.J. Brown he got paid the big dollars to make big time plays. He didn't get paid big time dollars to maybe have 3-4 catches. Like Devontae Smith as well. Like these guys, they're good enough to be in the conversation of the best duo in the league. Yet they're nowhere close to it because they can't get it from their quarterback on a consistent basis. Or not necessarily just the quarterback, but just the offensive system and scheme on a consistent basis. So they do have problems that they do have to address, and that just is what it is. It just may not be. I don't believe it's all on Jalen. Now, again, somebody that watches film closely, that deep dives into it, they will have to tell me more. But I for damn sure know. I know this. I know everything I said about that man was true in the off season. So,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Y'all do what y'all want to do with that one. Don't tell me this was supposed to be a top 5 quarterback. Like, don't tell me that. That's not what top 5 quarterbacks do. This is not what top 5 quarterbacks do. He's a good quarterback. Maybe don't. It's okay not to be in. It's okay not to be in conversations where you don't belong. But speaking of conversations where you don't belong, hey man, don't put anybody next to my girl Asia Wilson, dog. It's only one.
Big goat, man.
It's big only goat. One.
Big goat. The only reason why people are saying the Maya Moore situation because she had a better team, but let's keep it a being 14-14 to start the year, and they go on a 17-game win streak, and they win the finals, and they weren't even the first seed; they was the second seed. The girl's the GOAT, and mind you, she's only 28. She's 20. I think she's 29.
Yeah,
still young. She's still doing her thing. She's the best player in the league. Hey, shout out to the 803, bro.
Man, shout out to the 803. Shout out to the University of South Carolina.
Shout out to Heathwood. Shout out.
Yeah, you feel me? Shout out to Heathwood. Yeah, man. Like she's one. She's the. I remember we had a conversation about this like a while ago. It's like about like a year, maybe like a year ago or something like that. Bro, she's everything you could think of when you talk about being the best player. Like, bro, like I command all the attention on the floor. I'm gonna take the big shots. I'm gonna make the big shots. You know what I'm saying? Think about the year she had. Her shoe releases. Winning a championship the same year your signature shoe releases. And you winning your championship in your shoes. That just really come on, dog. Come on.
Mind you, Drew Lloyd is an Adidas athlete. And she won a championship in custom Asia Wilson shoes. That is a Nike brand.
Come on, man.
What y'all doing, man? Listen, I still have not got my hands on a pair. I got to get me a pair, bro. I got to get a pair, bro. I don't care if they pink. I don't care if they yellow. I just want a pair.
I got 2 shoes I got to get. 2 shoes that I'm like, I need these shoes. I need the A1s and I need those SGAs, the Converse.
Dude, I want the white ones. I want them all white ones so bad, bro. Them SGAs. Listen, can we talk about the improvement of shoe designs in the past, I would say like 10 years? Because in the early 2000s, East Bay, y'all, if y'all ain't get the East Bay book, y'all know what's up.
Hey, y'all boy too young, but I don't know about that.
Y'all was not shifting to the Reeboks, to the Converse. Y'all was only getting Nike and Jordans. Those are the only elite designs. Nowadays, you say you want a pair of SGAs, but those are Converse, and they look smooth, bro. We out here talking about getting women's basketball shoes that look nice.
The game has come a long way, bro.
Game has come a long way. I still want to pass Sabrina Nescu. I want them gold ones.
Yeah. Right, bro. Look, man. I think the game's in a great place, man. I mean, just to speak on the women's game for a second, I'm like, you look at the numbers they did this year. They did the best. They improved. They improved upon their numbers from even last year when we, obviously with the influx of young talent like Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese coming through. They stepped that up. The interest is rising in the women's game. I think that the girls that have come in like a Paige Beckers, those girls are helping shed light on some others that have been doing it for a while that just didn't have, I think, the notoriety. Like for me personally, I can say this: I didn't know about Kelsey Mitchell until last year. I didn't know about it, but I'm watching the fever to see Caitlin Clark, but I keep seeing Kelsey Mitchell go crazy, and then Kelsey Mitchell gets this opportunity this year to pretty much have the team to herself with Caitlin being down. get well soon, Caitlin. And she goes on a crazy run, takes the Aces all the way to the brink. Low key could have got them up out of there. You know what I'm saying? And just getting to watch a player that many people didn't know prior to a couple years ago, like general watchers. I'm not talking about the people that are in the know about the W. I'm talking about just general watchers, and watching her now be somebody that people have to talk about as far as the MVP candidate, and that now is, I feel like, is being out there to the masses for everybody to know and appreciate. I think those are the stories about the W right now that I can appreciate. I know people that are in the W will say, man, like, y'all just weren't paying attention. And I can sit here and wholeheartedly admit I absolutely was not paying attention as closely. I paid attention to my South Carolina girls.
All right.
But I wasn't paying attention to the overall league. So I do think the more and more we continue to get these girls to come through in this social media age where it is able to translate from the socials to real viewers, and it's able to transfer from the socials to real monetary gains in terms of what you can in terms of selling product. Yeah, I love where the game is at. Hopefully they get a fair CBA deal. And Miss Kathy don't, you know what I'm saying, don't try to stiff them girls, man. Pay them girls what they owe, man.
Yeah, so, man. Hey, shout out to Nafisa, man. Shout out for her to come out and say, for her to be one of the faces of the league as well. And also shout out to Asia for standing on that. Everybody is standing on that because and shout out for every male influencer, every male sports commentator, whoever having their back, because they know for a fact that these ladies deserve more. And like you said, you see how much the game has grown. You see the voices in the game. The games have voices. I mean, you had like Cynthia Cooper and Lisa Leslie and Maya Moore, but I feel like now these new brand of ladies, they are making their voice heard and they standing on business. So shout out to them on that. You know, again, pay them girls, man. Pay them girls. Y'all got the money. Pay them girls, bro. Pay them girls. Like, I don't think it's ever gonna be to where the men get paid, but y'all got enough to pay them girls a livable wage. A lot of these girls should not have to go overseas to play just to make an honest living. They shouldn't. Pay them girls, man. Come on, man. Y'all do better. Do better by. Y'all got the best player in the world out here, bro. Like, and all her money's coming from endorsement, and that's cool. But the way that girl playing, bro, that girl is almost like a 100 million, not 100 million, but she's like $20 million, $30 million player, bro. I don't know if the WNBA got that, but Asia worth a lot, bro.
Not fact. That's a fact. That's a fact, bro. But with that being said, this is the Ginger Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Sean T. Stewart. This is my co-host, D'Angelo Stevenson, and we out.
Peace.